tifu by trying to contact an old friend, by user unnoticeable. I'm on mobile, blah blah etc. Any names or places changed for reasons. So I had a friend around the 2000s, not even sure of an exact date but I will say between 1999 and 2004. We were close enough, talked on the phone, etc. I eventually moved to a different city about an hour away. The last time I saw this particular person, they had come to visit me at my new place. No arguments, bad blood, or otherwise were examined. Over the next year or so I moved east 2 states over for work. I lost touch with this friend, but tried to reach out several times on Facebook. They never got back to me, or said anything back. They disappeared from Facebook altogether, which I assumed was because they had cut out the social media for whatever reason. Years go by. It's now 2010/2011. I've got a wife and a kid on the way. I'm catching up with old friends, who just happened to ask if I've heard anything from this person at all. I reply no, not a word. I explain that they don't even have social media. My friend suggests Googling their name. I do. Several articles come up of this person's recent accomplishments, including that they are now a lawyer in a city about a half hour away from me, with an email address. I send an email, just a short hi. Haven't heard from you. No reply. I quickly get lost in life, my family, work, etc. Q 2015 or so when I sign up for Instagram. I find that this person is friends with several of my friends. Again, I reach out, hey, how are you, long time no talk. No reply. Nothing. 2021 rolls around. My kid is obsessed with animals, she wants to be a vet. She's at our local shelter and brings a book to my attention, a book who just happens to be authored by this person. Profits from this book go towards shelters. I purchase the book. I send an email to the person, saying thanks for the book, my kid really likes it, really cool of you to do this kind of thing. No reply. And now we're at current 2022. I'd been getting calls from Alaska police. I pass this off as spam as it seems I get more spam calls than real calls these days. 2 weeks go by and then, on a Monday morning, I have 2 police officers at my door. I open and ask what's going on. Both officers are arms crossed, angrily staring at me. Do you know this person? They ask. I say I do, from decades ago. The officer standing closest to me puts his best threatening voice on and says stop trying to contact them, or legal issues are going to be filed. That was it. They left. I am absolutely dumbfounded trying to understand what is going on. I figure it must have something to do with the Alaskan police calling me, so I skim through my call history, find the number, and call. The officer on the other end then informs me that this person has documented every single time that I have ever tried to contact this person over the past 2 decades. He says it's not illegal to do this, but this person would like me to stop. He also acknowledged that this person should have just told me from the get-go to not contact them. I'm still reeling. What kind of person, a fucking lawyer at that, abuses police resources and wastes police time to do this when a simple please don't talk to me would have worked 20 years ago? Dr. tried to contact an old friend over the course of 2 decades only for them to be extra creepy and call the cops on me. Tifu by sending pictures of myself, by user Denny12212. So I had met this girl online and we had started sexting and flirting, everything seemed fine. Little did I know. She then started asking for nudes which I declined because I just didn't want to. I finally submitted and sent them. I was then bombarded by aggressive texts and emails asking for me to send money to her otherwise she'll send it to all my family and friends. She even showed me my family's Facebook pages. I cannot stop panicking and overthinking. I have a very good job and I'm scared I could literally lose it all over this. Does anyone have any advice on what I should do? I cannot stop panicking. I deleted my email account and any social media she had and I'm hoping it all blows over and she doesn't go through with it. She was initially asking for £1,000. I have considered just paying her to avoid the troubles but £1,000 is £1,000 which I can't really afford. Do I go to the police for blackmail? I mean, is it even bad if family and friends see pictures of me? I'm just trying to justify it. Dr. I sent nudes and now if I don't pay them they'll expose me. Tifu by listening to a sports podcast at work, by user puzzleheaded_meal652. I'm a 20M and I work as a carpentry apprentice with a union contractor. I'm just a first-term apprentice, so I usually end up spending a significant amount of time cleaning. Because I usually spend most of the day working by myself, I enjoy listening to sports podcasts to pass the time faster. Usually I'd be listening to it with headphones, they needed to be updated, but today I was listening on my mini speaker. I regularly just keep my speaker playing when I'm talking with my supervisor just on a lower volume. Today while I was talking to my foreman, he's a pretty nice guy and we get along pretty well. We were having a spirited debate about whether or not he actually drank urine. His argument was that he drank so much water that it didn't taste like anything. When our conversation came to a pause, to my surprise, David Jacoby blurted out, "Vibrating anal beads." We both burst into laughter. After he left, I backed up the podcast to see what story possibly could bring this up. It was some story about a chess player and coach using vibrating anal beads to communicate, which is cheating. Once I actually had an explanation on why that came up on the podcast, I went to go talk to my foreman. I stupidly kept my podcast playing while I was looking for him. While I was passing a couple co-workers, it was blurted out again. I cut my losses and continued looking for my foreman. I played it back for him and we both got a good laugh out of it. TLDR, David Jacoby embarrassed me in front of my co-workers twice without trying. Tifu by asking out two women at the same time, by user hornybastard25. Tifu: so I've been talking to a girl for a while now and we've had a few casual hookups, but I'm pretty sure she wants to get more serious about it. So I decided sure, I'll give it a try and see how dating goes, as I haven't been in a relationship for a while now. Having been in a pretty casual relationship with her all year, I've grown to more like her as a friend than anything else, but it was weighing on my mind a bit, so I thought that it was a good idea. So I sent her a text asking her out to the movies and I didn't hear back from her for most of the day, and then she said she couldn't go out tomorrow night because she's going to a party. Now this second girl that I've asked out I met last week, but I had a fair bit of fun with her when we were together. So when we were texting her earlier, she was putting out that she liked me and I definitely have feelings of attraction for her, however deep that goes. So I asked her out to go clubbing tomorrow night and she said that she was going to a party which happens to be the same party that the other girl is going to. They know each other through a mutual friend. Update. For now it seems like they haven't spoken, so I'm in the clear for now. Thank you all for the advice. I've taken it on board and come to the conclusion that while it's not wrong to talk to two girls at once, making a decision is definitely going to be in the near future. TLDR. I asked out two girls on the same night, but they're busy going to the same party and I'm pretty sure I'm stuffed. TIFU by quitting my job, by user Grouchy_Advance6946. A little backstory: I've been working at this place for 5 years and it's been the most toxic place I've ever been. I stayed telling myself the pay was worth it, but the abuse got to be too much recently. I feel like I have to justify my decision by adding that the abuse I'm referring to includes calls 24/7 asking me to do work from wherever I'm at. I've gotten calls at 3 a.m., while at a funeral, while at birthday parties, basically whenever my asshole boss wants. Also, he loves to make me feel like crap and insult me every chance he gets, telling me how I'm a mess and basically useless. When I confronted him about it, he said he paid me enough for me to keep my mouth shut about it. Well, today I had enough. I quit, telling him that tomorrow would be my last day and it'll only be to finish what I hadn't today. I don't regret quitting, I only regret not doing it earlier. My problem is that I now have no job and have to wait to hear from them places I've applied to. This means I'll be not working for at least a few weeks, and as a person who lives paycheck to paycheck, this is my worst nightmare. I don't know how I'm going to make rent next month, as I don't know if my last paycheck will be enough to cover it. Now I'm scrambling to find some filler work while I hear from the other places I've applied to. Anyone have any advice? Update. Thanks to those of you who have left advice on the comments, it's been great, thank you. To those of you who are still confused by the financial aspect of it, I realize how that could be confusing. I didn't think to go into full detail, that's my mistake. My father passed away earlier this year. The funeral I mentioned earlier was his, and I was the one responsible for his funeral expenses as he did not have any sort of insurance, but I do also recognize lack of spending control on my part. Also, to those of you mocking my decision to just quit before getting a job, believe me when I say I always wait until I have a job before quitting, but someone careless mocking the way my father passed away snapped all my patience and I couldn't bear to stay any longer. The only reason I'm going back tomorrow is to not leave my coworker with all my finished projects. TL, DR, I quit toxic job but now worried about income.